Pakistan's Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari told me this disaster could be compounded by further flooding from overflowing rivers.
As you mentioned, we're no stranger to monsoons, and we've even seen floods in the past. Our last, sort of the highest floods before this were in 2010 and in 2011, and were for what were called at the time super floods. But the way in which those floods are different to this time round is that in either case, whether it's 2010 or in 2011, they either affected the one side, the left bank of the river, or the right bank of the river. They were limited to those specific areas that were devastated. And if I talk of this time around, just my province of Sindh, the entire province has been inundated by floods that came relentlessly from the skies, and this tragedy, this disaster, could continue to be compounded. We're seeing flooding in the Kabul River as we speak that obviously has to come downstream, and that too, we're bracing ourselves. We're hoping that it won't, but we're bracing ourselves for potential disaster and devastation that can result from that coming forward. So far, we've had more than 1,000 people who've been killed in these floods. We have 33 million households displaced. The devastation to crops and the rural agricultural economy is about 80 to 90% of our crops have been destroyed. We're currently, because it's still an ongoing crisis, involved in the relief and rescue operations, and the scale of the disaster, the extent to which it has affected so many different areas, be it Sindh, Balochistan, South Punjab, Pakhtunkhwa, Gilgit-Baltistan, has really stretched our resources, our capacity. The demand for relief is far outstripping our supply, and everybody is doing all that they can in this difficult time to be there for all who've been affected by this natural calamity. It is very difficult to communicate the scale and the impact of this in words other than sort of seeing it with your own eyes. Everywhere you look, water has devastated, floodwaters have devastated communities. We've looking to drain out the water. There's nowhere for the water to be drained out. It's everywhere. It's been inundated, and everybody's working round the clock to address this crisis.
There is a suggestion, and you alluded to it there in your previous comments, that perhaps you're not through the worst of this yet. There is still more water to come downstream, and perhaps these awful numbers of death toll, the number of people displaced, and the amount of property damage could yet get worse.
Yes, that is our concern, that as the floodwaters, because so far we've seen devastation as the result directly from the monsoon rains and the consistent sort of flooding from the skies, if it were. And now we're bracing ourselves for would be flooding from our rivers.